Drink more water. How's it going, folks? It's been like, well, actually it's only been a day since I've uploaded my last video, but how's it going? I am here today to talk about the new Suicide Boys album, Stop Staring at the Shadows. Now, if you don't know who Suicide Boys is, let me explain. So, Suicide Boys is basically a little rap duo from New Orleans. They're cousins, and they sort of rose to fame through like SoundCloud, like many other rap and trap artists do. They started releasing a bunch of music around the mid 2010s. And ever since then, they've released like a ton of music on SoundCloud. Later moving a lot of their projects over on Spotify and Apple Music. Finally releasing their debut album back in 2018 called I Want to Die in New Orleans. Let me talk about why I think people enjoy Suicide Boys that much. A rap duo who have more monthly listens than JPEG Mafia and Freddie Gibbs combined, which in my opinion are two better artists. Still, what makes Suicide Boys so popular and so appealing to, I guess, the current generation? So basically, Suicide Boys has an interesting sound. It's kind of like if you mixed trap with metal, but then threw in like My Chemical Romance, and then they had a polyamorous relationship, and then this is kind of what came of it. To be fair though, it is kind of an interesting sound, and I will give them credit for how original their sound actually really is. The thing that I personally enjoy about Suicide Boys that kind of appealed to me personally was that they sort of have a very out in the open attitude about all of their music. A lot of their music is just, you know, pure emotion, pure raw feelings. Nothing is left to be desired at all because everything is just left out for you to experience to the fullest. A lot of their music deals obviously with, you know, suicidal depression, self-harm, drugs, violence, alcohol, etc. The thing that makes it interesting though is that rather than trying to be like a lot of previous rappers who have sort of popularized or have sort of built their persona or story based off of their past because of drugs or alcohol or, you know, even suicide. Somebody like a Lil Wayne or even like a Denzel Curry or like a Pusha T, someone from that background, rather than trying to branch out into sort of rap and different genres and write condensed, lyrical, very well-spoken poetry and content, rather than try and hide it behind metaphors, they put it all out into the open through their lyrics. Things like songs like Kill Yourself or Paris or Secondhand, Running Through the Seventh with My Woadies. A lot of their earlier stuff is super memeable because the beats sound like absolutely disgusting. I'm not even gonna lie, like their early stuff, the production is just like so outrageous. But that's sort of the point. And I feel like they know that. It wasn't really until their debut studio album that everything kind of sounded cleaner and more refined, which is kind of a long time for a duo that started back in like 2014, 2015. You know, it's been a while since they've been around. So they've built up a really big following, and their sound has somewhat evolved over the years. A lot of their early music really dealt in the stereotypical SoundCloud fashion. A lot of screaming, lots of really disgusting lyrics about, like, you know, suicidal depression. Not much has changed, but the way that they do it has sort of changed a little bit. What makes them sort of appealing now is that they make so much music that it's super accessible to anybody who has like this raw emotion, who is trying to look for something to relate to. I think in total they have like 20 EPs or something like that. I don't even know. According to Spotify, they have about 11 albums. For EPs, they have like at least 30. So they've released a ton of music over the past 6 years. It kind of unravels the more that you really think about it. The reason why the first time that you hear a Suicide Boys album, what immediately hits you is usually the bass. And their sub bass is just absolutely insane. Then again, it is just both of them producing their own music, which is also pretty impressive and pretty rare now these days that a rap duo actually produces and writes their own music. Even if the music isn't like the best thing ever, like at least you know that they are putting themselves on the front lines and really expressing themselves fully throughout the whole music, you know, not just writing the lyrics, but they actually are producing the music itself, which is really cool. Trying to find good songs out of their entire discography is kind of like when you were a kid and you had a box of Sour Patch and you didn't want to eat the lemon ones, so like you poured out the whole box and then took out the lemon ones so that you didn't have to eat them because they tasted just like shit. Only instead of not wanting to eat the lemon ones, those are actually the good Suicide Boys songs, and instead of you being a little kid, this is actually current and still true because you're a fat little bitch. That's sort of how Suicide Boys EPs and albums sort of go for me personally. A lot of their songs are pretty much hit or miss because their sound is so distinct and their sound is so easy to listen to while also being like super raunchy at the same time, which I think is a very interesting combination. They sort of give off like a sort of trap style, like Death Grips energy, only without like the insane lyricism and the very diverse and interesting production. Rather, instead of that, you get raw emotional bars and trap beats for every single song basically. But you know, they're not there to be the perfect rap duo or even the most popular. They're just there to express themselves and to make music and to just be free and to just make music. As long as you're expressing yourself freely and truthfully, I don't really see anything wrong with that. That's just in my opinion, but that's how I feel about them. But anyways, I've been going on for too long. Let's talk about the album. The thing that is interesting about this album is that it's sort of the same thing that I was kind of talking about with like the Sour Patches. As I was listening through it, it's like very, very hit or miss for me. And a good portion of this album like didn't really hit that spot for me.
Pause.
I don't know. It's only 26 minutes and it's 12 songs. Like, I don't really know what else to explain about it. I mean, a lot of the songs feel like they are definitely trying to go more towards like a acoustic trap, closer to like what Trippy was trying to do, or what Trippy is doing now, basically. They're sort of more going towards that area of trap right now, and I feel like that's kind of trap in general, but that's a whole nother video. That was what like a good like half of this album kind of felt like, and I wasn't really vibing with it because I'm so used to Suicide Boys' like very raunchy, very like loud and abrasive sound. It's just not my vibe for most of the album. I do like Fuck Your Culture, All Dogs Go to Heaven. I also do like Scope Set and What the Fuck Is Happening. If anybody has seen the movie Under the Skin, they actually use part of the soundtrack for Under the Skin, just like a little sample of it. They actually use it in What the Fuck Is Happening, and I didn't catch it until I heard it for like the 6th time, but I don't know if they know what it is.
But I know what it is.
So therefore, I am the alpha, they're the beta, clearly, right? So, you know, Suicide Boys, you can't hide it from me. I'm gonna find out. Like, just tell me. You know, I thought that was pretty funny because I love that movie, and but it's also such a weird movie that I feel like it would be like a Suicide Boys thing to use a sample from like that movie of all films. I think like Putrid Pride, Bizarro, and especially the last track, I feel like those are just, I don't know, I feel like they're trying something different, and I can see what they're trying to do, but it just doesn't hit for me, and it just doesn't sound like it's really fully developed yet. They still produce a lot of music, so obviously their sound's gonna be evolving for some years to come from just this album alone. I'm not really feeling it that much. I kind of like some of the songs, but only like individually. A lot of the songs don't really connect all that much. I guess sonically they all kind of give off like a sad boy kind of, you know, vibe. I think I'm gonna give this one like a 6.5, maybe. No, I'm gonna keep it at a 6. I'm gonna keep it at a 6. I'll probably listen to it a little bit more. Like I said, these are just my opinions. You know, if you guys want to go off in the comment section, I don't care. Either way, you're gonna blow up the video, so I could give two shits. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Suicide Boys and the new album. Definitely leave a comment if you disagree with my rating on the album, or if you think Suicide Boys is trash, or if you think they're, you know, like the best rap duo out there. Let me know. I'm interested in your guys' opinions. But yeah, go check out the album if you're into that kind of stuff. It's not an easy listen, but you know, the tracks are short enough to where I feel like you could probably get through it. So, you know, it's up to you guys. But yeah, leave a like if you want. Definitely subscribe. Still gotta do my Sonic the Hedgehog review. That's gonna be even more memey than this piece of shit. So, you know, stay tuned for that. You know, that's all I got. See you guys in the next video.
Wake up with the active face. Pop 2 pills with Gatorade. Round my neck, yeah, gator face. Might pop your more on a later date, but I don't know. Young still gotta go with the flow. Bring her home backstage. Tell her, tell me everything you know about life, then I bounce.